What up, y'all? Mr. Nation, aka Savage Armor June Giraffe, and today in the Megacolonty Trap House podcast, we're gonna be doing something a little bit more serious-ish, story time-ish, whatever. I guess it's weird, but shut up, computer. Anyway, um, not so really happy right now. A lot of things been happening, and I just want to get a few things off my chest. So here's the thing. Anybody who's been around my channel for a while would notice that there will be days where I'm uploading like consistently, and then instantly I stop. And there's interesting reasons behind that. Sometimes it's usually because I'm too tired to make videos. I'm trying to like get out of the habit of doing that. And other times I just don't really have the time at particular times. Cause you already know, like, life comes first and all that other shit. But at the same time, I will admit, for the last few months, I've ran out of ideas. I'm not really even gonna like lie about it. I kind of ran out of ideas. Not saying that I don't have like a lot of content to go out of though, but I will admit, ever since Overdress started, I've been out of the loop. Like I haven't really been keeping up with Overdress like that. Like I know like what the top decks are and all that other stuff, but I don't know why they are the top decks. Like here's the thing. One of the things that like I'm noticing like everybody's talking about like Orphis is pretty much one of the worst decks. It got one top and all of a sudden like all the Orphis players are like rejoicing and whatnot. And I'm all like, I don't necessarily know why Orphis is one of the worst decks in the game. And I don't know why Bastion is one of the best decks in the game. Like I know like the foundation of it, 16 grade 3s though, but I don't see like what makes it very good. I don't know if it's the fact that everything is based, like I don't know if it's because it's the over trigger or whatever. Like I have to go and sit down one day and just try to learn everything about Overdress at some particular point to get back on track. But I'm sitting here like, I don't necessarily want to do videos where I keep up with, where I like keep up with all like the announced cards and stuff like that, because there's Vanguard YouTubers who already do that. You have Solomon do it every once in a blue moon. You have Vanguard Insider who does it consistently and all this other stuff. You have a few ones here and there. You have a lot of people who you already have like a lot of, Vanguard YouTubers who basically keep up with whatever currently is released and actually gives a full-blown analysis. And I'm sitting here like, well, what the fuck can I do, like, to contribute to the Vanguard community? Like, for the last month, I've literally just sat down and was like, what can I do to actually contribute to the Vanguard community? Now, one of the things that I have been doing is I've been doing a couple of things, such as, like, the Haters Guide, and I've also been doing the Dark Device and whatnot, where I cater more towards my Megacolonty brethren because I love that clan that much that I want to go in depth to it. But even with that, I'm all like, everything from Overdress kind of shifted. There's not really any Megacolonty based units to come up. And again, I don't necessarily know enough about the order cards to really justify like hey, this order card could work with Megacolonty and whatnot. And that was my original plan. I was like, yo, I'm gonna pay hella close attention to Stoichia, or however the fuck you say that name. Stoichia, I don't care. I'll pay close attention to that because that's going to be the nature that I'm obviously going to be playing. And I'll be like, yo, if this card looks like it can work in Megacolonty, I would definitely do it. But I got a long ass story to tell everybody. A long ass story. And this is basically one of the major reasons why I haven't been paying attention to Vanguard as much as I have been. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Ever since the beginning of this year, I've been kind of paying a little bit more attention to Weiss instead of Vanguard. And it's because of certain events that happened that it led all the way up to this, which is the reason why I put it in a podcast, because if I put it like in an actual, video, it's going to be too long. So I'm going to try to like simplify this as much as possible. But you already know how that goes. It just ends up being a long ass video anyway. So, before I start, let me tell you that, in my personal opinion, all of this leads up to miscommunication. I'm going to mention an LGS. I'm not going to say the name of the store, but all I'm going to say is I'm not bashing that LGS. I'm not bashing the people at the LGS. I'm just saying that there was a lot of miscommunication that went on that led to me not really having that much motivation for this game anymore for a while. My motivation for the game is slowly coming back. I think in general, I just needed to take a huge break from the game. But anyway, let's start all the way back to around the time Clan Selection Volume 1 was coming out. Alright, so just for a heads up, Clan Selection Volume 1 was pretty hard for a lot of people to get a hands of, because like the distributors were low and all this other stuff was happening, and there was a lot of short supply and all this other stuff that was happening. So it was one of those things that was like a huge demand but very short supply type ordeals. At least in my area, that's how it was. Because I'm be real with you, the LGS that I go to is literally the only LGS that caters towards Vanguard. Like, all the other LGSs around my areas either cater towards usually the big three. The one that I'm starting to go to recently, they cater more towards Pokemon, Weiss, and a couple of other games. But, I'm gonna just be real with you. This was just the downward spiral of everything that was happening. So I decided that instead of doing my usual going to this other spot that is more of like a warehouse thing, and pre-ordering stuff from one of the vendors over there, I had an idea of actually buying boxes. Now here's the reason why. I don't really have a good trade binder. My trade binder is trash. Like, it literally has a value of like $10. Like, that's how bad it is. I don't really have any decent tradable stuff, and it just looks very empty. And my thing was like, when I figured out that Bushiroad announced that all you needed was 4 boxes and you'll get a playset of everything, I had the bright idea of being like, hey, I'll just go pick up 4 boxes, get all the stuff that I need, and try to sell the rest off. And at least I would have some content in my binder. that was basically what I was going to do. So I was going to go to the LGS that I normally go to, try to get there as early as possible, like be there maybe like 15 minutes before it opens and stuff like that. So that's what I basically do. I didn't get there 15 minutes before. I got it there exactly when it opens, and surprisingly nobody was there. Talked to the owner, and it turns out that they didn't really have any boxes. They only have one. And part of that was because I'm gonna be real with you. To continue before I continue, this store is pretty small. It's not really big. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. We'll be lucky to get like 12 players on an average. I mean, on a good day. Like average, we have like 6, 7 players. Sometimes like 9, but like on a good day, 12. Like, that's how small it is. Prior to pre-COVID, we had like about 3 tables, so that would be like 12 people right there. But like after COVID, only like 1 table could be in there, and the other ones have to be outside. So that's how it normally happens. But outside of that, to continue, she didn't think that a lot of people were really interested in the set, so I don't think either she really didn't get a lot of that particular set, or she couldn't find a way to get a lot of it in advance. Because like I said, the set was pretty hard to get of, and that was a little bit understandable. And I was like, okay, you know what, to be fair, I didn't pre-order any boxes, so technically that was my fault, and everything that happened was on assumption. So I can't really fault the shop owner for this mess up. So I was like, okay, I'll just try to prepare for volume 2, because at that particular point the set's out, it's hard to get by. The box is gonna be high as hell, and in between like volume 1 and volume 2 coming out, the market was very unpredictable. So I was like, yo, I will pre-order some boxes, just give me a price. But at the time, she really wouldn't give me any prices because nobody knew how much this set was going to, stay on. Nobody knew like an actual like price on the set, because most boxes, when it comes to extra boosters, are normally like 30 something, and this one was going in between like 55 and 80 and all this other stuff. It kept on going up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's a very unpredictable set. Then around the time volume 2 came out, I made the mistake of not really keeping up with the pre-order and whatnot, because at this particular time, my work schedule changed. I was dealing with a few stuff here and there, and I was overworked at that particular point. So it was one of the last things on my mind to continuously check up and update whether or not my the owner of that store, of that LGS, has a price yet. So that was my mistake. Went up there to do the same thing because I was like, maybe they knew they're a little bit more prepared because of what happened with volume 1. Come up there and it turns out that they don't really have the boxes for volume 2. So now I'm even more pissed, because I was trying to do the same thing. I was like, maybe I'll just get the playset for the stuff that I needed, and then try to do everything else right then and there. Put everything in the trade binder, and it didn't happen. At this particular point, I'm really mad because now I gotta search out for singles. and whatnot to try to make up for everything. And it's all like I wanted to play everything in that same particular day instead of waiting like a week or two for stuff to come in the mail. That was also another reason. Again, all of this is all due to miscommunication into other personal shit that was happening in my life. Then after that, obviously the trial decks for Overdress comes out, and I was like, okay, there's no way the store owner's not going to have anything else for that particular. I know for a fact that the owner is going to have the trial decks for this particular thing. It's a major release, a release that everybody will be prepared for. So go over there. Um, my dumbass woke up late, and Friday is basically work day for me, and also in Saturday is too. That will come up later as to how all of this comes into play. On Friday, I was deciding like, hey, maybe I'll try to like wake up early, try to get there early, get like the trial decks, bounce, and then like go to work and whatnot. I woke up too late, so now I have a choice because I don't have a car. I have to travel through bus, and both the LGS that I go to and my job are, when you drive by car, it's 30 minutes away. Which means that through bus, they're like almost 2 hours just to get to each destination. And I know some people are going to be all like, oh, well, why don't you just use Uber or Lyft? Well, that becomes a huge issue too, because guess what? For some odd ass reason, I don't like using Uber because Uber costs too much. Lyft obviously, like Lyft costs like a lot less compared to Uber, so I use Lyft. For some reason, um, ever since the pandemic happened, there's been less and less drivers. And I can kind of sort of understand because I have seen the videos of a lot of the drivers dealing with customers that don't wear their mask and trying to act all rude and shit like that. Like, this pandemic has made people like a lot more rude. Like, obviously you can look at all the Karen videos that's up. But so I can kind of understand why a lot of people didn't want to do rideshare services anymore because of the safety procedures that they have that a lot of people don't want to follow. So it's been very hard to get drivers. Like, I will call for a driver and I won't get an indication that a driver will be found until like an hour later. And I didn't have that time to do that. I didn't have that time to try to make it there by bus, try to wait another hour for an Uber driver to come there or a Lyft driver or whatever. And I don't know, man. All of that just went to shit at the end of the day. Like, I'm just be real with you on that. So obviously I'm gonna choose, I have to go to work, I have to make this paper and all this other stuff, so I can't really afford to go there. So I was like, maybe I'll try Saturday, maybe I'll try again. And like I said before, prior to Overdress, the shop was pretty small. So I'm not really expecting a lot of customers to come by. I get there and she has no, in the LGS, the local game store owner does not have any trial decks available anymore. I get there like on Saturday the next day, made sure that I got to get there early and whatnot, and they didn't have any trial decks. So now I'm pissed. And one of my friends came up there and said that he was there on Friday and they sold out of all the trial decks within the first 10 minutes. So, man, I like literally I had to I had to spend money on singles for both Clan Selection Volume 1 and Volume 2 because I didn't get all the stuff that I needed in time. Then there's no more trial decks. So now I'm going into the overdress format with no trial decks whatsoever. Because now everybody's online having a hard time keeping stock and people are over there overpricing the living shit out of these trial decks. So I'm at this particular point so mad that I was literally thinking about quitting Vanguard in general. I had 3 bad experiences within the course of 4 months this year. And I was at this particular, and I was like, you know what? It's okay. There'll probably still be people playing, standard or premium because I still have those particular decks. Nah. Obviously, I was a dumbass to think that because everybody wants to play overdress, everybody wants to try out this new format and everything else like that. Everybody wanted to see like if this whole thing with the overdress triggers is actually that OP to shit. It's all like it all got up to a point where I was almost done with this particular game. I was like, you know what? Before I even declare that I'm quitting the game, let me sit back and look at, and reflect on all this. So I decided that I was going to take a break. I've been playing Weiss consistently. A lot of my time has started to go into that. And then a realization has happened. Remember when I said that I do work Friday and Saturday? Now, let's be real. The weekends are basically like where everybody's the most active, which is completely understandable. My work schedule revolves around me closing the store. Like, I've never really had that many scheduled hours to where I didn't close the store. Everything I do is through closing. So obviously I work in the afternoon / evening, where basically everybody's the most active. And because everybody's active on Friday and Saturday, where everybody's the most available, I came into a realization I don't really have that much time to really play this game like I used to. Because if I was to go to if I was to go to my LGS on Saturday, I only had time for 1 or 2, maybe 3 games of Vanguard. Because most of the time my schedule starts at either 3:30 or 4. Sometimes it kind of rotates here and there. The LGS opens at 12. Everybody doesn't really get there to nearly 1. So that literally leaves me about an hour to play. Maybe 2 hours if I can squeeze that second hour in. But that doesn't really leave me to that much. It really doesn't leave me to that much room of really playing the game. Now, there's also another thing that I've noticed as I was doing my reflection. I've always came with a full backpack full of decks to play with, both standard and premium format. And I'm sitting here like, I have all of these decks. I spent like over $300+ just trying to get singles because I was not only trying to get the singles for the standard version of the deck, but I was also trying to get singles for the premium version of the decks. And that made me came to a conclusion. Why am I spending over $200+ per paycheck on decks that I'm not really going to play that often? I'm literally wasting money here. And it's like, it's not like that I don't make a lot of money or anything else like that. It's more of I'm not seeing the value come out of everything. Especially ever since Overdress was announced and all that, everything like tanked. And I don't necessarily play meta decks, so I can't be like, hey, let me try to sell this deck here and there and try to make like a decent profit. Nah, I'll probably make like $20-$30 at most. Like, that's how bad it is. So I decided that I was going to literally sit down, look at all the decks that I have, and really choose, hey, maybe I should only focus on certain clans. Like I should have been doing the whole time instead of impulse buying because I want to try this out and that out and that out as well. So I made a list. I literally sat down, made a list, looked at everything that I had, and decided to come up with my own tier list on everything that I was going to main and everything else like that. So the tier list goes as follows. Tier 1 is going to be the main clan. Every single clan that's on this particular list, I'm going to put my full heart and dedication to this particular list. This is all the clans that I'm going to be focusing my most time on. This is going to be the clans that gets the most upgrades and the ones that are possibly going to get have at least one max rarity deck out of like every single one that's on this particular list. And surprisingly, all these clans are pretty cheap as well, so it won't be that hard, and it won't break my wallet that bad. Tier 2, I've noticed that there were a lot of clans that I had that I only like the sub-clan. I don't like the whole clan in general. I like the sub-clan. And that was the reason why I wanted to put more dedication to it. But basically, tier 2 is just going to be sub-clans. These are going to be the decks that I will play both premium and both standard format, but it's only going to be around these particular sub clans. Like, that's basically how I'm going to be doing it. Tier 3 is the one format only clans. This is kind of similar to tier 2, but for one reason or another, I'm basically going to be playing these particular clans in one particular format. In one particular format. For one reason or another. Then you have tier 4, which is literally Neo Nectar, and I'll tell you a reason why this is just in his own tier. Tier 5s are clans that I either no longer want to play. I realize I shouldn't really have started these clans in the first place, or clans that I wanted to play but just didn't make the cut. Alright, so let's start off the list. Tier 1, Megacolonty. Let's be real. Head honcho clan. Judging by this podcast, judging by how much dedication I put to playing Megacolonty and talk about it and all this other stuff, have a whole series dedicated to it. Obviously, this is going to be the flagship head honcho clan out of everything that I'm gonna be playing. Then there's Great Nature. I'm gonna be real with you. Love Great Nature to death. It was the clan that I started the game on. It's the clan that I normally play in tournaments. That if Megacolonty didn't really have decent support at the time, Great Nature was there to pick up the slack. So basically that's like my lieutenant or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Third one is Tachikaze. I realized I love this clan too much. Like, there was a few times I really wanted to give up Tachi's, but I was like, nah, I love this clan a lot. It's amazing. Who who can't who who can hate dinosaurs with guns? I'm gonna just be real with you on that. Who the fuck can hate dinosaurs with guns? Dinosaurs with guns is fucking amazing, and they also have savages. So yeah, I'm smoking that Tachikaze pack right now. So definitely Tachikaze is definitely a clan I'm gonna be playing in both formats. I'm gonna be putting a lot of my focus on and everything else. Luckily, like the Tachikaze like Facebook page that I'm following has like a lot of good players, Tachikaze players there. The person who runs the page is going very in depth in Tachikaze, which I love the most. It was actually, I'm gonna be real with you, he was the reason why I decided to make Dark Device in the first place. So I'm actually kind of glad for that. So yeah, I'm definitely sticking with Tachi's. And last but not least is Nubatama. Uh, I like both Nubatama and Murakumo. Originally, like originally I was maining 6. I was like, yo, I want to main those 4 particular clans, Murakumo and Neo Nectar. I was like, yo, those gonna be my 6 clans I'm gonna be sticking with. But I decided to switch it to 4. Nubatama makes a cut for a few reasons. The first one is I like his playstyle control wise because it's all about bouncing stuff back and then at the same time forcing your opponent to discard cards. It's a pretty dick move, but it's actually hilarious at the same time when it's not being done to you. And then of course the domination mechanic. Like Nubatama has like a lot of stuff that it can utilize, which that's what I like the most about the clan. There's not really that much that I hate about it either. And I've been with Nubatama since like the end of the original era of Vanguard. So yeah, definitely putting Nubatama right there on the list as the last one that I'm gonna be putting all of my focus on. And then the second reason is because Bushiroad came up short when supporting Murakumo. All their stuff went to Shiryuki and it kind of went to Yasui and everything else like that. I'll be real with you. My most favorite thing to come from Murakumo was Hiyaki, and Hiyaki got screwed over. So I don't know, man. I'll think about it again whenever Hiyaki gets more, whenever Hiyaki gets more support. But I highly doubt that's going to happen. And I know Hiyaki isn't like everybody's most favorite unit, so that was a little bit understandable as well. Then there's Tier 2, which of course is the sub-clans. First one's Nightmare Dolls. I'm be real with you, I thought I liked Pale Moon. As much as I did, I will admit Pale Moon is actually pretty creative in a lot of the stuff that they do. But it just turns out that I like Nightmare Dolls, man. Nightmare Dolls is amazing. I love the design of them. I love the strategy that it folds. I like the creativity that the clan provides. And I'm all like, yo, I don't really like Harry that much. I don't really like Silverthorns that much. I like Nightmare Dolls a lot. But to be fair, I don't know why, but like the creepy doll is, aesthetic is something that I was a lot into. Like, I'm be real with you. I played both Shadows and I played Gimmick Puppets. and Yu-Gi-Oh! One of my most favorite horror movies of all time is Child's Play. Um, One of my favorite underrated animes from the 2000s was Rosen Maiden. And what else? What else is there? One of my favorite Tohu characters is Alice, which she controls fucking dolls. And I will admit, as much as it was very hard to play this character, one of my favorite characters from Blaze Blue was Carl Clover. So yeah, you know, creepy doll aesthetic, let's go. Next one is Zeal. It's weird because Dimension Police is one of those clans that I don't really main, but I like a lot of the stuff that comes from it. Like I like Cosmic Heroes, I like Enigmin, which for some fucking reason hasn't came to the game yet, but it's whatever. We're barely getting Dai Kaiser. I have a love-hate relationship with Dai Kaiser. Have a love-hate relationship with Sim Buster. I have a love-hate relationship with both of them all into one deck because anybody who played 2015 Vanguard already know why. No, 2015 Vanguard. Anybody who's played that already know why. But Zeal has to be one of my all-time favorite ride chains that the game has made. Like, I remember when I first started this channel, I made a video talking about like my 5 most favorite ride chains that the game has to offer, and Zeal definitely was like in top 3. Like that's how good that's how much I put this nigga up on the pedestal. I love Zeal. So when I figured out that Zeal came by, I was over there cheering when like different fight was reacting to that shit. Was all like, oh, who's happy that Zeal came by? What you and the 3 Zeal players? That shit was hilarious. But man, yeah, I was like, I like Zeal that much. Yeah, like I was like, I can't really give up Dimension Police. I can't really give up Zeals. I like Zeals that much to not give it up. So that's actually Zeals was the reason why I made this tier 2 in particular. It was Zeals and Nightmare Dolls. I was like, yo, I just like the subclan. I don't necessarily like the clan in general. Although this one was one of the very few exceptions. And then last, what am I doing? Last but not least is Dudley's. Dudley's is definitely up there as well. I like Spike Brothers. Don't get me wrong, but most of my loyalty has always been towards Dudley's. Like it even got it to a point where, like back in the day, I like actually beat Hell Hard 8 with Dudley's, and that was actually one of the most interesting but hilarious things, to be Hell Hard 8 Turbo with Dudley's. But I like Dudley's design. It was something. I think Dudley's was one of the things that it was very accidental, because I was like, yo, I want to play Spike Brothers, but I don't really have the Spike Brothers money. So then when I figured out that Dudley's was getting like more stuff in the G era, I was like, okay, let me try this out. Actually turned out to be a very fun deck. So yeah, Dudley's was definitely there. And seeing that we don't have like a full set of Dudleys, we're about to get a full set of Dudleys, I was like, yo, let me smoke this Dudley pack. Let's go. So that's tier 2. Tier 3 is the one format only clans. There's Saint Guard / Jewel Knights. I like some of the stuff that Royal Paladins have to offer, but I'm gonna be real with you. I was originally trying to play. It was weird. I was trying to actually play Soul Saber Dragon Premium, but I don't have. Oh, excuse me. I was trying to play Soul Saber Premium, and I don't necessarily have the strides for it, because the strides are very hard to get by. And I'm all like, if I was to build this deck, it would probably cost me close to $200, $300 to build it. And I'm sitting here like, this deck isn't really a main focus, but luckily I've actually got accustomed to the Vanguard Jewel Knight thing that happens in standard format, so I just decided to just stick with that. I was like, yo, I actually just want to stick to Saint Guard and Jewel Knights and just call it a day. Because I love Jewel Knights. Saint Guard was actually pretty interesting to me when it wasn't a pain in the ass in the meta. But outside of that, I was like, yo, Saint Guard, Jewel Knights, it was always a thing to be. So I decided to just stick with that. I was like, yo, I'm going to just stick with this deck because I did kind of sink like a lot of money into getting like a lot of staple pieces. And I'm gonna be real with you, I had MLB, like one of my friends decided to sell me an MLB deck for like 40. And I was playing it. I got bored of that shit like in 2 weeks. I feel like MLB was one of the most boring decks in the game, but yet a lot of people fucking like it. And I'm all like, this deck is boring as shit. It's so linear. It's so linear and it's so trash. Like it's so late game trash. It's ridiculous. But I can go on all day on why I don't necessarily like it, so I'm not going to do so. And then last but not least, there's Yasui, which is also going to be a standard only deck because for some reason, 12 crit. I mean not 12 crit. 8 crit Yasui is hilarious. Like, I realized that, like, Yasui and Musashi with, like, 8 to, like, with you know, Yasui and, what is it, Musashi? Or Mushi? Or I forgot how you pronounce that dude's name. Like, that shit's an hilarious ass combo. I will admit that. It's a very hilarious ass combo. So I was like, yo, let me hit them with this. I got some surprisingly I got some wins with it. Wins that I shouldn't have never gotten. So I was like, yo, let me do this because this is hilarious. So it's like my obviously like standard only troll deck. Weird thing enough, I technically can't really put this on this tier because I still have the Hyuga, broken ass Hyuga deck that's in premium format. And literally at this particular point, I'm all like, I don't really want to pull that deck out unless I have to. And seeing that we're supposed to be getting a quote unquote ban list, might as well just keep it. Just in case. Now, tier 4 is Neo Nectar. Now, here's the thing. I was originally going to put Neo Nectar on tier 2 because I like Musketeers. I figured out that I necessarily don't like the clan as much as I thought I did. I like Musketeers. So, I was like, let's put this on tier 2. But here's the thing. I actually had a lot of fun playing Maiden of. I had a lot of fun playing Arboros. So, I decided to make this one exception and decided to do this. Musketeers will be both. Now that we're getting more Musketeers, Musketeers will now be a standard and a premium deck. That is my main go-to when it comes to Neo Nectars. I will slowly build up a Maiden of deck to play in standard format in a Arboros deck to play in premium format. The problem with premium format is all of my Neo Nectar strides goes more towards Musketeers, so I'm hoping that one day I can pick up like a Neo Nectar deck that that's somebody trying to sell in premium format. Because we obviously know that Katrina is not going to get off the ban list anytime soon, so there's that. And last but not least, you have tier 5. These are all the clans that I did have or no longer want to play. I'm no longer going to give them any support. I'm probably, actually, to be honest, any clan that I have of these at this particular point, they're just going to be archived. Like, it's all like, if I feel like I want to play this clan at this particular time, I'll probably pick it up and take it to my LGS one day to play it. So, the clans go as follows: Link Joker, Narukami, Kagero, Dark Irregulars, Nova Grapplers, Aqua Force, and Grand Blue. Now let me explain the reason why I had each of these clans. Link Joker was a clan that I was actually going to try to get into because I decided that the main 4 clans that I was going to play instead was going to be Megacolonty, Link Joker's Nubatama, and Great Nature. Tachikaze would have been like a sub clan, but I decided, like, after looking at the prices and everything else like that and trying to get some of the other pieces, especially in premium format, it was very hard to get the pieces to a lot of the stuff. I was like, I'm not really going to headache myself trying to, main something that I was only going to main because it was Control Clan. So I decided to drop it. Even though I still kind of want to keep my deleters deck, and Messiah was actually kind of fun too. But like I said, they're just going to be archived. Narukami. I figured out that I just like Eradicators, so it was going to be a tier 2 deck. But at the end of the day, I was like, I really don't care about. It was one of those clans that I was like, I wanted to play Eradicators. I had my fun with it. I'm just going to give it up because I necessarily don't really want to play this anymore. Kagero, I will admit, up until that dumbass infinite loop that goes with Blade Master, I was actually going to play Blade Master. But again, it's a clan that like is kind of sort of hard to get a lot of the pieces to. I had it at one particular point. I had like a lot of the expensive pieces. I sold it off at one particular point. So I was like, I had my fun with it. I don't necessarily want to play it anymore. So we're just going to do that. Dark Irregulars, I was just there for Amon. So again, it was going to be a tier 2. Amon's not in